Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Simply Spooky. We've got Viv out there at the moment. She's shearing out, so she's been a little bit quiet for a change in the telephone corner.
Shut your mouth.
Our guest, and our long-term very good friend, Mr. William Becker, is here with us tonight, and we're going to be chatting about. Well, hopefully, you know what we chat about many things, then we go off on tangents. But hopefully, we're going to start off on the right track, and we're going to talk about cryptids, particularly in Oregon, because obviously William lives in Oregon, so he's the guy with the finger on the pulse there. So there you go. Hiya, Sarah. Hope you're good. Hiya, Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy. I hope you're feeling okay.
Yeah, I hope you're feeling good now, buddy. So William, as I've said before, he's a Renaissance man. He's a little bit of everything, and he does everything that he does. He does it well. So we're gonna. Hiya, Jamie. I hope you're good. So hello, William.
Well, hello. Thank you so much. And I don't know how to live up to that introduction now.
Hi, William.
It's all true, though, William.
You've almost left me speechless, which is pretty hard to do. Vivian can attest to that.
So, William, obviously you're an Oregon person. You're living in Oregon.
I'm one of the rare breeds that's born and bred here.
Are you really?
And so were my parents.
Oh, you're a proper Oregon. What is it? What do they call them? Not Oregonians.
Yeah.
Oregonian. Right. Okay. There you go. So you're a dyed-in-the-wool Oregonian then?
Yeah. I tell people I'm a true Valley boy. The Willamette Valley, not the whatever it is in California.
So what's the weather like there at the moment? Hi, Cliff.
Cloudy, but reasonably warm. The weather up here is getting, as climate change and global warming continues, climate change up here is getting more and more schizophrenic. And,
really?
Good way of putting it.
All over the place.
We may have, we might have 60 degrees one day and 25 the next. But
wow, that's a vast difference.
And for those of you that are on Celsius, 32 is our freezing point. 32 is your zero.
Wow.
And so, it just, take it with a laugh. And
you have to, like most things in life, you have to. So you've had snow there recently, is that right? Or in the last week or two? And normally you have quite a lot of snow, don't you? Like
in my area, when I was growing up, we got pretty good snow every year. And I was good at driving in snow in those days because I did it all the time. In a big old American rear-wheel drive, Chevy, but with snow tires. But now we have a lot of years we don't get any. This year we had a record breaker for one snowfall. We got almost a foot in Portland.
Wow!
But I'm at the higher elevation. I'm at about 500 feet, and where I am, my immediate area, we had just a tiny trace. But the lower areas got a foot.
Wow.
Some of them. And it's just the way we've got the Cascade Range, 30, 40 miles away. We've got the Coast Range about the same away. We've got the Columbia River Gorge, which is a giant wind tunnel from the east coming in. And so we have a lot of things that shape our weather patterns around here and make it, we're unique.
I know.
It's so fun.
Like your good self, William. Oh, look, Parker here, I'll let him in. Hello there, mate. How are you?
Hi.
I'm right,
How are you, Parker?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself, William?
Yeah, good. It's good to see you.
And you,
so,
buddy?
William, is it... Sorry, Jamie.
Hi, Dave.
Hello, Parker.
So is that what the mountaintops like at the moment? I bet they're covered in snow, aren't they?
Yeah, including the lower, the foothills. They have snow at the top too. Pretty well down. Mm-hmm.
Well, a bit too cold for squatching then at the moment, I would imagine. Although I guess people are doing it at any time of the year.
Yeah, but one of the biggest places known internationally is the Malala River Valley, which is about.
Thank you.
Well, shoot, we used to own some recreation property on it, and I'd just go hang out there, and we had a swimming hole, and just go with friends and sit around and talk in the middle of the night. Or, in fact, it's where I saw my UFO. but it's 15 miles away, maybe.
Wow.
And it's low, pretty much. So, but the Cascades, Clackamas County, my county, is one of the most noted for Bigfoot sightings anywhere in the world.
It is, isn't it? It's really up there, isn't it? Way up there.
Yeah, and experiences as well. The forest rangers have a lot of experiences. I've got this secondhand from a friend of mine who has talked to them a lot, and
Really.
he's talked to the forest rangers a lot who have had the experiences.
And they're quite happy about coming forward and telling you about the experiences they've had then, or
They did with him. He was managing a coffee shop, and they were in and out. And he was also into environmental science, so he was out at the work sites a lot of times as well.
Right, I'm guessing he's one of them.
You build up a relationship with these people, and they were having the knockings, the yells, the smells, all kinds of things. Very few that actually saw one, because it's wooded and they often don't want to be seen. But very definitely letting their presence be known.
And that is very cool.
Now you
hit on there that and I didn't know that you had a UFO experience there.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, because there's supposed to be a lot of these in that same corridor. I was probably a senior in high school, and a friend of mine and we used to just go out midnight. We'd go out to this river property we had and just sit around and talk. And we weren't drinking, we weren't doing drugs, we didn't take hallucinogenics or anything, but we'd just go. It's a way to get away from family and stuff. There weren't many places for high school kids to go when I grew up, and especially broke high school kids. All my money went for college. I was on a pretty tight leash when it came to spending. So we were sitting out there, and this huge round saucer type thing had many stories of colored lights. This was close, and I'm very skeptical of pinpoints of light 5 zillion miles in the sky from people who aren't astronomers and astrophysicists.
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally there's something that's obvious, but most of the time, us lay people really aren't that much in the know. But this was close. It was huge. You could see the multicolored lights. It moved around kind of funny, just not speedily, but horizontally and up and down and all that. Didn't make any noise. And then it went down behind a hill that was close by. And we thought on the way back into the car, oh, let's go look for it. I bet we can find it. Because I knew the back roads well enough, I think I could have gotten us probably to where it was. And by the time we were in the car and I had it turned on, we thought, oh, we might find it. We went home. We didn't go look for it.
Yeah,
you
I think that
don't
was
know
wise.
what you're going to find when you go look for one of those.
I think that's wise, very wise choice and decision.
Yeah.
So how big was it? Was it massive? Was it? Sorry, William. Was it a massive craft or?
Yeah, it would. It was. And I'm remembering this 48 years later, so it left an impression.
Yeah, clearly.
I mean, it was very large. It was big enough we could see with our eyes clearly and all the rest of it. So
Hi, Paul. Hi, Cliff. That's an amazing experience.
Hi, David.
That's an amazing experience. Might be a bit too close for comfort for me, though. Seeing something that large, that close.
Well, it didn't seem to come right at us. It didn't hover close to us. It was a little ways away. It didn't appear threatening at all. And I don't know if it knew we were, people on, or whatever these are. I mean, for me, they're unidentified. I don't know if they're interdimensional, extraterrestrial, something out of a Flash Gordon comic strip that came to life, or
exactly.
A lot of.
But aren't they connected with Bigfoot though? They're saying they're seeing the UFO sightings and the bright lights in the sky before Bigfoot comes out as well, which is interesting, I think.
Or around the same time, people say that. But there are also a lot of UFO sightings that have nothing to do with Bigfoot. all over the world.
Yeah.
And some pretty convincing ones. So I'm not hooked on. I think that coincidentally things like that might happen because just the area is open for both of those. But
Yeah.
I'm not. I have no reason to believe with any solid evidence that they're connected. I'm open
Yeah.
to it. I mean, if somebody can prove it to me, I'm I'm willing to look at evidence. I mean,
Yeah.
real evidence, not
No,
Yeah.
I know.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
yeah. The older I
That's
get, the more
interesting, though.
skeptical I get.
I think you have to be though, don't you, William? Just
I
to.
I agree.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like that. I've become very skeptical over. I'm not, as I've always said, I'm not skeptical of the paranormal. I'm not skeptical of spirits, but I'm skeptical of people's perceptions of what they are.
right.
You know?
And people's experiences, um, unless I know them well enough to know that yes, they go through the checklist to make sure that it isn't something just natural, or there are all kinds of things that could be. And
Yes.
the training for both of my degrees, verify sources is a big part of it,
Yeah.
and it's just part of life for me. It's my credibility. If I'm
But I think you're right, and I think without that, I mean, even at a sort of layman's level, like myself and Viv and Jamie, I think that if you're going to do it, you need to have credible sources. You need to do your homework. Otherwise, you're going to go to the table, and it's just going to fall apart.
Yeah.
What you think is evidence is not going to be evidence. Not going to be evidence.
right. And just because somebody puts it in a video or somebody puts it in the book doesn't mean it's real.
No,
That doesn't
exactly.
mean it's not. I just need, if I don't know the person and their integrity as an expert in their field or an explorer in their field, I need something more to back it up.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think it
I
is as
agree.
well. You know, William, what you were saying about like the Bigfoot noises and that. Some people say, "Oh, that could be this, this, and this," but someone like yourself that knows that kind of distinct sound goes, "Well, that was Bigfoot."
Yeah.
Someone that doesn't believe in Bigfoot or someone that doesn't believe in the cryptics and UFOs and stuff like that, they're like, "Nah, that was just something else. It wasn't aimed for that person or that Bigfoot." If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and
You know.
and for me, a lot of it goes with people I'm around. I have seen a Bigfoot and heard them this time. I'm not an expert
No.
on anything to do with them, including the sounds, because they didn't do lots of that with us. But I was with people who had had lots of up close encounters, who were honest people, and I didn't always necessarily trust interpretations, but I knew they were not liars.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
and then when I saw, we had so many experiences that weekend. It was amazing. And then when I'm seeing one and watching it for like 30 seconds with my own two eyes, like he was standing there or strutting there for me to see him, so he would know, I would know that they exist.
That's a blessing, though, isn't it?
Communication I was having was real, not made up in my head.
Yeah.
And then I thanked him and I walked up and joined the rest of the group.
Actually, a lot of people say that, don't they? A lot of people say that have had no experience with Bigfoots at all. They said that they've been frozen to the spot, they've seen them, and they've looked at each other, and it's almost as a form of telecommunication between them.
Yeah, it is because I try as a medium. I work on that stuff. I've flown over forests and 35,000 feet and thought, okay, well, let's see if what I can pick up down there.
Yeah.
And I picked them up at times, but I couldn't. That was before I'd seen one, so I wasn't sure if I was delusional or if they were real.
But you know what? When you got a lot of people saying that and coming forward and saying they had this form of telepathic communication, there's got to be some credibility in it, hasn't there? Definitely got to be some credibility in it, because these people that have had their individual experiences and they're not related in any way.
Right. The only thing can be you start getting a sort of a mass hysteria. That's not quite the right word, but people start jumping to conclusions easily. Especially over here. I don't know as much over there.
Oh yeah, over here the
but
same.
And it's not that they're necessarily deliberately misleading anybody. They think it's real,
Yeah.
but it hasn't gone through all the checks and balances to say, yes, this really is a real experience, or no, the broom fell down in the broom closet.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's the kind of thing. It gets a little exhausting trying to figure it all out sometimes. But
it's a blessing. It must be a blessing, though, seeing one. I mean, that really is a gift to be able to see one.
Well, I just want to quickly say, I've got like the Oregon's Bigfoot
the Oregon
Highway.
Bigfoot.
Right, but people seem to forget that there is a lot of bear out there in those forests and other things that want to hurt you. Recently, there's been a big thing about eye shine. Okay.
What?
Eye shine. You know, they see the eye shine. And with some people I've noticed watching them on social media and even on TV, they see the eye shine, but common sense seems to disappear. Like the eye shine is the same level as a big cat. You have mountain lions and cougars and things that will want to eat you out there.
Right.
That also sit in trees. So they automatically jump to the Bigfoot thing and don't filter out common sense. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like William would always tell me, Vivian, just remember there's things out here in the woods that would eat you. Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
yeah. But that's not when you go on a paranormal investigation, isn't it? And you know, if you go with somebody, and I do get annoyed. I shouldn't really, but I do get wound up with it now. The older I get, the more conscious I get. And when somebody's on an investigation, they say, I've just seen this, you're going to have a look. And clearly it was a window that was open and it's blew the wind through, caught the curtain, caught something else. And you explained it to them and it's like, no, it's definitely a ghost. It's like, no, they still don't want it. And you think, well, what can I do? I can't, you know.
No, there isn't anything you can do except learn that that's maybe somebody you don't want to do an investigation with.
Exactly.
Not a true word said
and there's
there,
plenty
William.
of them out there, unfortunately. Hiya, Chantel.
We've missed all the things.
Hi, Chantel.
Chantel's in the house. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Woo, woo.
Whoop.
Hope you're doing well, Chantel.
Let's all do a Bigfoot call for Chantel.
Hi, Kelly. Hope you're doing well. And to Chantel.
Hey,
good Eric. Good old Eric. Hi, you Eric. Hope you're doing well out there.
Dan, do a Bigfoot call for Chantel.
I don't know what a Bigfoot call is.
Viv, I'm sorry, but that sounds like a baboon.
Apparently,
I was thinking like somewhere between a mouse or a moose and an owl.
More like a monkey.
Yeah.
Wait. Hi, everybody. I thought I missed.
Oh, I love it.
William was impressed, really. He was.
Oh yeah, I just didn't want to embarrass the other guys, you know.
No, exactly. So
by promoting your talent too much.
Most cats are orange and Bigfoot probably red. Yeah, I've heard a few things about Bigfoot, red and orange, and I don't know. I've never seen one, so I know they're talking about another thing as well, which has come to the fore. Obviously, it's been a big thing in America for quite a long time, and I only discovered it in the last couple of years. And you probably know about it. Well, I'm guaranteed you know about it. I'm sure these dogman sightings that people have.
Oh yes. Did you get them in Oregon, William?
Did we have? I hadn't heard.
Dogman sightings.
I haven't heard of it in Oregon. It doesn't mean anything. It means I haven't heard of it. That's all. And it's a big state. You know, we've got about 17,000 different climatic systems here. We've got everything from high desert to semi rainforest, and everything in between. But I'm skeptical of anything I don't experience myself.
Yeah, I think you have to be.
Yeah, and dogmen things come up now and again. How much of it is, again, public hysteria, mass hysteria? Because sometimes these things have been proven to just be a mangy old dog or something pretty normal. Or you get the occasional coyote, German Shepherd hybrid or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I'd want proof. a few fuzzy photographs that look like they could have maybe been made up don't prove it to me.
No,
And I'm
I
not
agree.
trying to impinge on anybody's integrity, but um, it, I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but I just don't know.
Yeah, I'm like that. It intrigues me. The idea intrigues me, but as for the facts, factual, I don't know.
mhm. Yeah, and you just don't, historically, you don't have as much of this kind of thing either. It doesn't show up with the settlers. It doesn't show up with a lot of things. Of course, they would have called them demons probably if you go back far enough. But
Yeah, well, they would. Yeah, they would have, wouldn't
yeah.
they? They
So
really would.
Johnny Boy not only sticks his rear end at you, but he sticks it to the whole camera and all the rest of us
It
too.
doesn't care, does he?
And he dribbles on the keyboard.
Don't care, does he?
Oh, jeez.
He's just lying down there now. Keep an eye
Okay,
on him.
good. Yeah, I mean it's an interesting.
I've done a few of those before.
Oh, I backed into a prickly. I didn't even get. I don't know if
I
I
agree,
even
Brian.
touched it, but I got way too close, and it took quite a while to get all of the barbs out of me.
Did you cry? I would have cried.
Yeah, I
No,
think
I
I
didn't
would have.
cry. I was probably 8th, 9th grade, but yeah, stay away from cactus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we know a dog called Cactus. It comes from Spain. Nothing to do with cryptids. Just
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. That's very true, Chantal.
John's trying to replicate this book. Just with the eyes.
Is he trying to?
Okay.
Oh, right.
I can't see the
book
name
that.
of it. What was it called?
So this is
Is
Sasquatch.
it Sasquatch, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Legend Meets Science by Jeff Meldrum. Now,
Okay.
he's done a lot of research into Bigfoots, and again, it depends on your own perception, how you view it, whether you'll like it or not like it. I find everything just fascinating. Where
Yeah.
I've been, William's taken me to some places where he's actually spoilt me, and one of them, shall we mention it, William? Let's mention it.
Okay.
We went to Cliff Barrickman's Bigfoot Museum, and for those of you that don't know, Cliff
God, I'd love to have
Barrickman,
gone there.
Yeah.
he was on Finding Bigfoot, the show with Bobo. Bobo James is his name. I can't remember.
Yeah, I love Bobo. I love the pair of them. They're all nice people.
But they've travelled the world looking at not just Bigfoot. They're all the different names for them. The Yowie, and there's one in Thailand. I forget what that was called.
They came over here as well, didn't they?
They did.
They did one here, didn't they? Because of the sightings that people were having.
Yeah.
Okay.
So William did spoil me and introduce me. I think from that very first time we went there, William, I was absolutely hooked. I think William got fed up because he was waiting for me to come out. I was just like question after question after question, and then the gift shop happened. The gift shop happened, and then it was like, oh God, I'll wait outside. Then I'll be next door having a drink. Just come and join us when you're ready.
Yeah.
Jay, you'd love it there. You'd love it.
My guides told me after I did it, it's like, okay, you've been here, you've done that, you see that it's real. Now move on to the next thing. You don't need to anymore. I mean, for me, I'm not talking about for anybody else. And it's true. It's like, okay, I've got my answers that are several years later are still holding up. I still cannot explain what I saw and experienced any other way, and I keep looking. And so it's okay, now I can leave them alone because they want to be left alone. I mean, one of the messages that was very clear to me was we do not want proof of our existence out there because we don't want to wind up in zoos or be hunted and killed. And they said, no good follows man. And they're right, I saw him walking on a Forest Service trail. It was graveled, and we were right close to the gravel pit where they'd gotten the gravel for the road. It's they're well aware of our capacity for evil and
Yeah.
don't want to do anything about it. It's said that Teddy Roosevelt was hunting them or whatever in Colorado and saw one, and his plan was to shoot it, and he couldn't because it was too human.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I've heard that from several people who are pretty honest people. So I think there's probably truth to it, but I'm not going to swear by it. I mean, Teddy Roosevelt rarely met something he didn't want to shoot. It was the big game sportsman,
Do you know what, William? I played the Sierra Sounds in its entirety to Dan.
Amazing.
Okay.
And it's
Amazing.
not just all the big whoops. You hear two of them chattering to one another.
It's really
And
sweet, isn't it?
Dan looked at me and said, "That practically sounds human."
Right.
And it's funny that you said that about Teddy Roosevelt, saying that it looked too human. They sound human too.
Do you know what? I read an article recently, and it was the guy. He was replying to it, and he was one of the First Nations. He was from one of the first, was a member of the First Nations, and he was saying that what a lot of people don't realise or understand. He said they're looking at it like it's an ape. In one way, yes, it is an ape. He said they're looking at it like it's supernatural. He said, but what people don't really understand, he went, they are a people.
Yeah.
They are actually a people, and people seem to not recognise that, which would actually bear out what you were saying about Teddy Roosevelt couldn't shoot it because it looked too human.
Yeah, and it fits with my remote viewing from airplanes experiences, and well, even the experience we had at the camp while we were looking for them, because right off the side of this little road, you could tell that there were three of them. We couldn't quite see them. It's interesting. They're there. You can almost see them. I could see them here. There's just a little thin line of trees there behind, but they weren't visible to us. But I had a conversation that for the group of us, and was interpreting back and forth, because our group leader, I mean, one of them, it was like a mother, a father, and a young teenage girl, and the teenage girl, the guy that was leading it, is a really nice guy, and he wanted the girl to come and touch his hand or hold his hand, and she was starting to get to a point, and the mother was starting to get to a point where maybe okay, but that's when the father said, "No, you may be trustworthy, you may be good, but no good follows human.
Yeah.
No good follows man." And
to be honest, he's not a bad judge,
what
is
the
he?
next one is, and who knows? Even with diseases, I don't know. Could we give them something? Could they give us something? I think it's perfectly okay to let them be who they are and let them alone.
I think you're right. I think that any form of, unless it's done, I don't know, unless it's a one-off or what have you, I think any form of relationship that's built with the human race is never going to end well, is it?
No.
No,
it never has.
Never.
Including
no,
for
never
humans.
has, never will.
Right.
And I think that the father clearly was wise to what the human race
Eric's got a big heart there, look. Can you imagine?
I could never do it. Killing my first squirrel was traumatic to me. Could never hunt again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
what
horrible.
Kind of Viking are you?
Kind of what kind of Viking? He didn't say he does go after him with axes though.
Axes, yeah.
Squirrels.
He didn't say anything about pillaging and burning. And
that's true. That is
people.
true.
He's got to behave himself because the missus is watching. On.
Oh, hi, Rich. I didn't see you there. Hope you're well.
But you're talking about the sounds, and we heard that chatter at night in our camp.
Beautiful.
And there was just a small group of us in our camp, and 2 or 3 of us had like the sound of zippers opening on our tents.
Time to leave. Time to change your pants.
Would have been
Yep.
The nail of the Bigfoot scraping up. Not trying to get in or anything, but they were in our camp at night. We had, and it was a little bit nervous for me. I knew we were okay, but at the same time, it's something different.
Yeah.
I slept well though, as well as ever. The last night it was really
William,
cold.
if we go and do this,
Mhm.
we'll have to share one big tent and Bugsy being in the middle. So I'll have
Oh,
a
we're going.
Dan
We're
and
going.
a William sandwich. I'll be in the middle hiding in case
We are
something
definitely
goes.
going.
We'll need to get another tent. Mine is sort of good enough for two, but it's crowded. But that's okay. And actually, we'll need to rent an RV. My tent days are done.
Yeah, I'm too old for tents now. RV sounds good. We'll rent an RV.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Bigfoot doesn't
small
try
one.
and get into the RV. He wants to go in a tent and see what you got in there.
That'd be
Well,
squeaky bun time as well.
you can sleep in the tent.
I'll be just me and
There you
Jay
go.
then in the tent.
Do you know
Yeah.
what? One thing that worries me, and I must admit it does worry me, I follow lots of these cryptid podcasts, and a lot of them are very good. They're decent people, and they're inquisitive, and they want to find out the intentions and the reality and everything else. And they have people on that have had experiences, and it's very good, and it's all been done respectful, and people have never. But there are a couple out there. There's one run by he's quite a big guy, and it seems to be always carry a gun and blast.
Yeah.
And you think, well, why? Why would
Yeah.
you do that?
And you'd never know for sure. There are reason why we have lots of hunting accidents in this state and in this country. Because, it's a deer. Well, it's wearing a red
Not
shirt
no
and it's
more.
got two legs. Although now these hunters all the time are wearing camouflage, so it's even harder. Talk about a bunch of idiots sometimes. Now I know I'm going to get a lot of hate email, but that's okay. I don't care. I'm old and stodgy.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's true though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. This is slightly off subject, but it's so funny. My dad's first teaching job was in the middle of nowhere. The town had 250 people in it. The school had about ages or grades K through 12, had about 50, 75 students. A big graduating class maybe had 10 kids in it. And that included boarders. And we were out in the place where it was mostly high desert. The joke was the rattlesnakes had to carry canteens, but there was a river with some higher hills, and trees and stuff, and so there was some actually pretty good hunting. And the bunch of guys from Portland, the year before, I think it was, we were there in the late 50s, came down in a brand new Buick.
Sorry.
And then they had lots of drinks and decided to sight in their rifles, get the scope or whatever aligned right so they're shooting. And they put the targets up at the front end of their brand new Buick. And they shot it to pieces.
I was watching a video online the other day talking about that, and there was a girl, she couldn't have been, she was only a tiny little thing, probably about 9 or 10, but there was nothing of her. And she was at a gun range, and it was outside, and it was like, what do they call these big guns? The ones that are all the...
Semi-automatics.
There's a particular one, isn't there? That they've
SR-15?
SR-15.
AR-15.
AR-15. AR-15. And she had one of them, and I thought, well, she can't hold that. Surely that's got... I'm not knowing. So she let it go. She fired it. And then the gun just threw back, and it killed the guy that was showing her how to shoot the gun.
What? What, hit him in the face or something?
She was firing it, and it got out of control. It was too powerful for her. And she must have had it on like automatic, and then it's bang, 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 and then it's flipped her back, and he's gone to grab it, and it's just gone off in her hand and killed him.
Yeah, I believe it. I know there was something about something along an instructor getting killed a while back.
I saw the video. It was horrific.
Yeah. No, we live in an insane culture here with the guns, and I don't know. Anyway. I don't get into politics on shows, or when I'm doing professional work, I leave the politics out of it. You
Yeah,
want
it's
my
always
politics? Go on my private Facebook page or my
yeah,
personal one.
yeah.
That's what happens when you give kids guns. That's what it's
Yep.
saying.
It
That's
is,
right.
Eric. It is.
Although I
But
was in second grade when I had a .22,
wow.
but it was a single shot rifle that I was used under strict control with my dad. We had a shooting range, and I'd had a BB gun before that to learn how to sight and to use. I was never allowed to touch the thing without Dad there.
Mm.
And it was, I learned gun safety,
Yeah,
but it was also a single shot. You can't, you pull the bolt, you put the bullet in, you shove the bolt in, you pull it down, you take off the safety, and then you fire it. So
Yes,
yeah,
much like a shotgun over here, because we used to do a bit of clay pigeon shooting, and we used to know people with guns at gun clubs and things. That's all regulated here.
yeah.
But again,
And
it's common sense and safety. But it just seems like sometimes all common sense goes out the window.
and every time we try to make laws about it, certain courts throw them out. Anyway, I wasn't going to get political. I'm not going to get
Yeah,
political.
let's move along.
Yeah.
Let's move along.
Yeah. But while we were that time, I was beginning to talk about the camp too. Now, we were on a dead end piece of road. It was Huckleberry time, and we were out a little ways, but we weren't out in the middle of it, nowhere. I mean, shoot, we'd drive into town for dinner sometimes, or lunch at least. And the road we were on was dead end. So the guy that had arranged all this was really good about knowing how many cars had gone in to Huckleberry, pick and come out. And this was all after everybody was gone. There was no way for anybody else to be around our camp or coming around. And the last night it was cold and rainy and windy, and I had a pop-up, a marquee, whatever you want to call it, with sides to it, up in front of my tent. And so everybody came in there, and one of the people had a gas fire ring. So we sat in there and talked and ate sandwiches or whatever and stuff. And you could tell they were outside. Two people sat close to the wall so that their back was on it on purpose so they could feel if anything happened. And two of them independently felt hands on their backs. I am pretty sure I'd left a little bit of food and something down in a corner that was slightly open by me, and it seems like I saw. It was interesting because I partially saw here, partially saw here. It wasn't solid, but like a hand trying to come in and take that because I'd left
Do
it
you think
down there
that's
for them.
the cloaking thing? Maybe. I mean, people go on about this cloaking that they apparently could do. Do you think they use that as well to not just to hide from us, but
I don't know. Cloaking sounds too much like Star Wars to me.
the cloaking thing. I looked into that. I'm not saying they don't. It sounds like it could be credit. I don't know. But also, what you got to remember is in them, like the forest and woodlands in America, there's a lot of heat. You're going to get a haze, aren't you?
yes,
You're going to get a what?
A haze.
Haze, like a shimmer,
Like a shimmer.
haze.
Yeah.
A heat
Well, we
haze.
didn't have it. We didn't have that with these, and this was at night. So,
Yeah.
but we had enough natural light to see with when I saw them. The moon and stars and stuff were bright enough that I could see. I couldn't make out detailed features, but I could see something gigantic walking back and forth in front of the trees, and there were
Did it
nothing
scare
else
you,
was
William?
moving. Did it scare me? No, not really, because I was cautious, but it was clearly not angry, or it came across that it wanted me to see it, so I'd have my experience. I'd know they
Letting,
existed. I'd
Oh, yeah,
know that the conversations I had with it were real,
yeah.
and then it could go on its way. And nobody else in the team saw it because I'm a medium. I wander around in the back, and I'm slow.
Mm.
And there were lots of fae out and stuff like that. We had so many experiences with all kinds of things that trip. And so I'm looking to see who's peeking out from the leaves at me, and all kinds of stuff. And there,
I think you'll find they do, Paul, because if you've got hunters out
Military,
there, they're going to need to be
and hunters.
cloaked.
Yeah, hunters
well,
and military.
Yeah.
yeah, and it depends on the forest. I mean, where I live, forests are pretty dense. You go up into the other side of Mount Hood, and the forests aren't so dense. It's a much drier climate. This side is the weather side, the rain side. The other side's in the shadow. So
Plus,
it makes
don't they appear because you have some interesting weather there, William, including tsunamis, believe it or not. I know about these because the weather is just so diverse from one side of Oregon to the other, if you like. Do you think the weather plays a big part on whether they're going to show the people, not even show themselves, but, just happen to be, and time of year, like you mentioned huckleberries. Now, I know Parker doesn't know what a huckleberry is.
they're good.
I was lucky enough to try some huckleberry honey, and honestly, it is the best thing I've tasted in a long time. But
What is
do you
huckleberries?
think
I don't know. Is it a store? Is it or?
It's a fruit, isn't it? It's like berry.
Yeah, it's a berry. It's just a berry
like
that
a
grows
blueberry,
wild.
I think.
Right. I didn't know. I didn't know. No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, they grow wild in the woods.
they're amazing?
Yeah,
I think they're
they're
like a
little
slow
red berry.
berry.
I think they're red or purple.
They're like a slow berry.
I'm
I
not
think
sure
they're that colour.
I'm not sure what a slow berry is, but it's probably close to the same thing with a different name.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think no, I've heard that some of the tribes have well,
That was Viverick.
Todd Baker said that
Yes.
some of the tribes would let the Bigfoot go in and pick first, and then they'd go pick. And Todd's somebody you can trust. He's a professional archaeologist specializing in bones. He works all over with sites, and he knows what he's talking about, and he's had these experiences. So that's part of what they do. But I think there can be around any time. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I talked to him from the air in January because I was flying to the Stanley Hotel, and I thought when I was
You lucky thing, you.
I taught a workshop there 2 or 3 times, and we did have experiences. It's interesting. I saw Mr. Stanley peering out of a mirror at me.
Wow.
Yeah, and
wow.
that was a whole nother thing. But I don't know, and it's possible that some of these areas are just more ripe for a variety of people. I mean, we had fairy lights, we had all kinds of things.
So, right, the Patterson Gimlin film, that famous piece of film that everyone likes to debate about. So, Rob says Patterson Video Bigfoot knew he was being watched, but the question is, do they know what a video camera is? I'm sure by now that they do, surely. What are your thoughts, William?
Well, they've made it clear they don't want any clear photographs of them, and I think they have the ability to make sure those photos aren't clear. And I don't know how much of that is going in and out of a universe or a parallel dimension or whatever. I'm not going to say there isn't some kind of cloaking device, but that just sounds too mechanical and Star Trek for me, or Harry Potter's invisibility.
Maybe they got that idea from them.
Yeah,
and the Predator films as well, didn't they? The Predator films was the shimmering,
cloaking
thing. Yeah,
and the shimmering doesn't mean cloaking to me. To me, it means coming in because I've seen that with elementals that were coming in to here physically, and these are physical visions I've had.
Yeah.
And then in one case, a dwarf-like guy, he saw me and was startled, and he went back again. And that was the middle of daytime.
Yeah.
Sorry, William, go on.
And I don't take hallucinogenics. And I don't day drink, and I don't drink enough to hallucinate.
No.
But I mean, those are valid questions you need to check with people with, medications, self or real or whatever. They can do things.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
definitely. There was a guy I was watching. They were interviewing him, and he was in LBL, Land Between the Lakes. And Land Between the Lakes, it's called. I can't think where it is. It's in America, but I can't think whereabouts.
Yeah, I think that might be part of Michigan.
It is Michigan.
Yeah.
It is. You're right, absolutely. And he's saying that he was a sheriff, and he said that he went out with fishing one day, and doing a bit of hunting and fishing. And he went out with the deputy, who was a friend of his, and they had this run-in with what he said were. He said they weren't. He said there were Bigfoots there, but there was these what he said were dogmen, and he was saying that the one thing that he didn't suss it straight away, but every time this thing appeared and then vanished, prior to it appearing and just after it vanishing, there was like it's like a sound of metal tearing. And then he was saying that the guy that he'd went with, they'd had this run-in with them, and he came back. There was one guy that had been killed. He was further down, but he doesn't think it was the Bigfoots. He thinks it was something else. Thinks it might have been these dogmen that he'd seen. And he was also saying that his deputy, when they got back, his deputy had a massive heart attack over the weekend. No, sorry, he had a massive stroke over the weekend because he was so frightened and had to retire from office on that Monday. But the one thing that he said, and then I heard it again repeated by somebody else, this tearing sound as though a sheet of metal's being torn, and then they appear, and then they're gone, and it tears again. So whether that's stepping in and out of portals, I don't know. It's just supposition. But I've just found it an interesting thing.
Yeah,
he's got his little boy, so he sort of pops in and out.
Okay.
So that's what he's doing.
Cool. And
we've got a question, William, from Paul. He says, "Can I ask, going back to the Stanley Hotel, how do you know it was Mr. Stanley? Could it have been somebody else?"
After I saw the picture, I saw a portrait of Mr. Stanley, and it was the same guy. Good question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, John's back.
Yeah.
Everyone was asking where you were, Parker. I missed you.
I really. No, I had to go to the toilet.
I will let you off then.
You can, make a star out of your little one if you want. Have him part of the
get him in on it.
Interrogate or the interview. But
he'd love it, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he loves Bigfoot.
My cat mind control.
Remember to tell you, cat mind control doesn't work.
My cat is broken. Let me just tell you that. It is broken.
Just like
he was sniffing light bulbs earlier, wasn't he?
It sniffs light bulbs.
Just like the owner.
I was going to say, yeah, it's a good match.
She licks windows.
And he's actually, I'll just let you know, Eric, he's got, he's called what they call a black tabby. He's got spots and stripes. And you see him in the sun. And I've decided that makes him Bengali, which makes him Indian, he has an Indian summer name, which is Jonvinder Puss Singh.
I love
so that's my cat. So this is Jonvinder Puss in the summer.
Look at him.
Okay.
It wants me, is what it is. It wants to be around me.
Yeah, he just wants attention. He wants food.
We're descending on you next year, aren't we, Viv?
Yes.
I hope so.
We are coming. We are coming to Oregon.
Yay!
We are
I'm
coming to Oregon.
definitely making it this time.
And Jamie's going to come.
Great.
Aren't you, Jamie?
Yeah.
Good.
We are going to go on a bit of a tour. We're going to go to Oregon and annoy William for a little while. He'll be saying, "I can't wait for these guys to leave." That's what he'll be saying.
I'll probably get banned. I've been banned from Norway. I got a life ban from Norway.
Have you?
Yeah.
You've been banned from Norway?
Why?
Because they were they were hunting wolves out in Norway, and there was 100 wolves left, and the gene pool was so depleted. And I went on a massive rant about them hunting these wolves, and I tried to get it stopped, and I was just a big pain in their backside. And so I started lobbying the hunters, and then I lobbied the government, and I lobbied and in the end they went, you're not welcome in you're never ever welcome in Norway.
Good for you, Dan. You know?
Sir David Attenborough would be proud of you, Dan.
Yeah.
I wore it as a badge of honour. I thought banned from Norway.
Yeah.
I said to the woman at the thing, I said I didn't want to go there anyway.
William, we got a question. Do you think Bigfoot are vegans, or can they be vegans?
That's a good point, actually.
No, I think they're omnivores, just like humans are. Just like a lot of things are. And, most ape-like creatures are, or many of them are omnivores. They eat a lot of nuts and fruits, but they eat meat too. Things chimpanzees will, gorillas, things like that. We do. Cats and dogs need a balance of different things too.
Yeah.
So, but I can't prove that. I can't. I haven't sat down and had a conversation about their dinner plans. So,
as long as they're not eating me, I don't care what they eat.
And I haven't seen any scat, so I have no idea. Plus, I'm not a biologist. I couldn't tell you what was in it anyway.
Question though.
Would you want to pick it up and smell it, to be honest? Apparently they give off this smell that's so bad. Would you want to smell it? I wouldn't.
Well, one of the things that, because we didn't have any of that smell when we were around. And some people I've heard, I think on your show, I don't remember, I've heard a hypothesis that that's something that they only do to show as a warning or to try to scare people off, or it might even be a mating form, a pheromone or something. I don't know. I mean, those are valid questions that might be. All I know is that our experience didn't have any of those orders. But people working in the Cascade Mountains, which this sighting was in, but it's a long mountain range,
beautiful.
have had the smell. So but they were also in a position where they were being warned and told, we know you're here and we don't like it. They weren't in danger. I mean, they weren't being attacked. Although there's
Yes, I do hear that. But I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, it's an interesting place. I like it. I don't know what it's like now.
It's in the
you
fridge.
know me, Eric. Bonobos more. Bonobos eat a lot of meat, don't they? Yeah.
Okay.
What's a bonobos? What's a bonobo?
It's like a monkey.
Oh, is it?
They're actually quite. I think they look weird, but I think they look beautiful.
Okay.
I think they are. I think
they're the same thing. It's just another name for the same type of
different region.
Just like people, aren't they? They're spread across the globe.
It's like you've got a Londoner here, and then you've got the Scousers over there, and they're a bit different because one goes, all right. You do the accent, Dan. I can't.
And the Yeti, I think, are usually referred to in the Himalayas and different places where they're white, and so that matches the snow. But
yes,
I think that's accurate.
It sounds exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. But what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, we're going at about 100 miles an hour.
These people I know that I used to do some workshops at the Sumter B&B in Sumter, Oregon. It's way out in the middle of nowhere. It's about a 6-hour drive from my house, and the owners of the place at the time, and their son runs it now, but they'd had one of the professors from Idaho State or whatever, a university professor, and who's supposed to be big on this, and they went up and they saw a couple of young ones across the valley playing, and this professor started banging on trees and stuff, trying to make them mad, and it did. The people I know headed down the mountain in their four-wheel little ATV or whatever they are, and the professor came rolling down fast. They'd been throwing big rocks at him because he made them mad.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of thing with, with investigating ghosts or something too. Why do that?
Yeah.
You don't treat beings that way.
No.
And I wouldn't want it with somebody deliberately making me mad.
No, I agree.
And so but this is, these are firsthand experiences supposedly from people that I have some credibility with or for. I don't know them well enough to know that it's not a little bit made up, but if you watch Ghost Mine, it's a 2-year series. The B&B is on the show in a few episodes because it is haunted. All of the ghostly activity in the mine was made up, not by the miners. They didn't know it, but the crew made all those things happen without the miners knowing it.
Eric says that's what happens when you poke the bear. So if you make them mad, expect a reaction, basically.
Bring it on yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bring it on yourself. You deserve it.
Yeah, I felt for the Bigfoot, not for the professor. It's like, I wasn't there. I would have knocked you in the head.
What do you think about these stories, though? Jay, see what you think as well. I've heard stories that go back that were handed down words verbally that Bigfoots, whatever you want to call them, Nanuks, whatever, they've got all these lots of names for them. They come out of the forest and they were kidnapping the native people or the women and taking them away. There was a story about one woman that actually lived with a Bigfoot. She was taken. It is said that he wanted to mate with her and all the rest of it. They're a couple of years living in a cave, and she described it, and it's been handed down. She described it to a T, but he put some gum or something on her eyes to stop her from seeing where she was being taken.
That's clever, isn't it?
When he brought her back, he decided to bring her back to her people again and put this gum on her eyes, and she was just left there naked in the forest, and she was found and then taken home. But then she relayed this story. It sounds quite fantastic. Not like, oh wow, like she's made this or this is brilliant, or it was quite plain but fantastic the way that she remembered, and even down to the communication that she had with them. How a Bigfoot could accept a human being but on their terms. What are your thoughts about that, William?
I am highly skeptical about that. Reports happen for lots and lots of reasons. She may have been off with another tribe for a while, and her boyfriend died, and she went back home.
Yeah.
There can be, and it could have just been a lie for whatever, or it could have been a misunderstanding. I mean, there are so many things. Traditions are not facts.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're based in fact, and sometimes they're not. And in fact, sometimes they're based in just scaring people to keep them from doing stupid things. But so I don't know.
What do you think about the Alaskan killer Bigfoot then? The story that the whole town had to get up and move because this thing was, I say thing, there might have been more than one that was so aggressive and killing people.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
You don't?
I mean, I need a lot more proof. I'm not going to say it couldn't have happened.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the other one couldn't have happened, but I
Yeah.
need a whole lot more proof than people trying to make money on television.
Yeah. That's true.
And I'm not saying, I'm trying not to put, any lack of credibility on people or whatever, but follow the money.
Yeah.
And
Money talks, doesn't it?
It does talk.
Mm-hmm.
What does this say? It could have been a man in a bear skin.
True. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but I mean, you hear about things. People run off with a boyfriend, and then they, they set it up as a kidnapping or whatever to save face, or I don't know.
I think the rule of thumb to take from it really is if you see one out there or you see more than one, just leave them alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If they want to come to you, great. If they don't, then let them do it on their own terms.
Mm-hmm. And
if they come to me, we're having tea.
Good.
We'll sit down, I'll get my flask out.
Yeah. And what you do is if they appear to be agitated at all and you can leave, you leave.
You leave.
Yeah. Now, like with Todd Baker, they had work to finish up a couple times. They couldn't leave yet, but they left.
As soon as they could, they left. Yeah.
You hear that, don't you? People that have had they've had run-ins with them. They've known the point to leave at, and then it stops. The trouble stops.
Mm-hmm.
So, William, we have a jar of doom. And every week we pick from the jar of doom and we talk about a subject. So tonight, William, this is going to be your pick. So you just tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. I have a few here.
2.
So you have to pick a number.
The second one. 2.
Number 1.
Oh, good.
Number 2. Right. Okay. Number 2. Number 2 it is. This is what we're going to be talking about next week.
Bigfoot in Oregon again.
Oh, that's an intriguing one. That's an intriguing one.
So hopefully our Lois will be back with us next week. She's taking some time out for a well-earned break. That poor girl works so hard. So
she's a busy girl, isn't she?
She is, and she's also studying as well, which people don't realise. So she's taking time out, and Jay's had a bit of a rest tonight because he's been working hard with his shift patterns.
Yeah,
he has indeed.
We're very proud.
I appreciate you being here, though. Yeah,
thank you.
He's looking half decent. He's quite happy, actually, William, because didn't Liverpool beat Man United 7 goals?
7-0, yeah. So I'm still getting over that, to be fair.
7-0, that's a wipeout.
That is a wipeout.
Manchester United, of all people, as well.
No.
Shame on you, Man United.
Mind you, to be fair, they were lucky 7 goals.
So
that is what any Man United fan would say.
They were all one-offs, is that it?
One-offs, they're all one-offs.
Yeah, all one-offs.
You know, when they were scoring a goal, you hear, nice one, son. Nice one, son. Get in the net. Get it in the net. Nice one, son.
Someone's nicked the net.
We take the mickey out of Scousers. Well, not Scousers, just Jay, really.
Just Jay, yeah. Scousers all right. It's just Jay we like to wind up.
When we take Jay to Liverpool, I wonder if his Scouse accent will come out.
Bryce said the goalie had gone on holiday.
You what?
Bryce says the goalie had gone on holiday.
Yeah.
That's funny. That is funny.
That.
So we're back next Tuesday talking about telephone calls from the dead. Tomorrow night we have a very, very special treat for you because our guest that couldn't come on last week will be coming on this week, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Tony Stackwell will be making
You
an appearance.
got to bear with him though, because he's not all there.
No, well, he's giving personal readings, maybe a little bit of healing if you're lucky, if you need it. So anyone that wants a reading with Tony Stackwell, please put your interest in the chat tomorrow night from 8 o'clock. You give him a little bit of time to, link with spirits and what
Link with spirit, yeah.
And then he'll be doing some readings for you in the chat. And
he will, just for the people out there they're not in, shall we say, they're not in body anymore. They can contact him through telephone calls.
So, yes, so Tony Stackwell is making an appearance tomorrow night. So that will be an interesting show. Jay, are you up to coming and helping out and asking questions? And
yeah, can do, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I help you out tomorrow.
Good.
Cool.
But that's what we're doing. And when is your next show coming up, William?
It's coming up not this Saturday, the following Saturday, the third Saturday of the month. This Saturday, I'm doing a gallery reading in Independence, Oregon. There are tickets still available.
Ooh.
I'm not sure how to tell people to get them online. I've posted it on my Para Insights Facebook page. So you can go there and check it out. And
Bry's going to give Tony a ring.
I'll give him a ring.
Oh, God, William, this is going to be crazy tomorrow. I think
Eric's already had a reading from Tony, I believe, hasn't he?
I believe he has.
Eric's had a reading from Tony.
Or was it Rita that had the
Rita
reading?
had a reading from Tony.
Yeah. So you can also rate him in the chat as well. That's always good because he likes to see how he's doing. Because feedback's always welcome.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he won't mind. So
I may have to try to get one.
Definitely.
I definitely would recommend him as a medium.
I wouldn't take too much notice of what he says. He's a bit rubbish, to be honest, but he tries.
Parker, do you want to close the show tonight? Have you got any words of wisdom to leave us all with?
Not really. Just be safe. Be happy. Keep out of trouble. That's it.
Don't do anything stupid.
To be fair.
Or Parker will bend you up like a pretzel.
Exactly.
Sounds good.
Well, no, just be safe, really.
We'll see you guys next week. You will take care.
Look after each other, respect each other, and love each other.